Oh, I've got feedback. Hold on a second. Hello, everybody. Hi. It's Becky from Power Tools with Thread, and I am about ready to do a tutorial on the Kimberbell mini quilt using the multi-needle. So I see some people here in the chat. All right, it's great to see you guys. Would you guys let me know if you can hear me? Don't know. I'm going to assume so. Okay. Well, hello, Sophies. It's good to see you. Yes, awesome. Hi, Judy. Okay, good. So yesterday we did the lucky block for the Kimberbell mini quilt. Let me get that. Good, you can hear me. All right, let me get that. And I wanted to have the CD with me. I'm not too far away, you guys. Room's a hot mess right now. Okay, so we're doing the Kimberbell mini quilt, and this is the Lucky with the rainbow, pot of gold, and a shamrock, a 4-leaf clover. Okay, so yesterday we did the Lucky block in the single needle. All right, and I discovered, it wasn't just me either, I discovered that there are some placement and tack down lines missing in the design file for the lettering. Now, I had placement and tack down for the batting, which you can see right there, okay? And that way, I'm going to use that as a guideline to be able to use my trimmer by George to trim this up. But if you were just doing the lettering, and I noticed that yesterday when we got to the lettering part, because I did an ad where I had the background quilting first and then the design file on top of that with the lettering. So there was only one rectangular box between the background quilting design and the lettering design. And I had anticipated a, like a batting placement and a batting tack down and a fabric placement that I would have to skip over, but they weren't there. There was just one rectangular box. So someone emailed me about that too and said, is it just me or am I missing these or what's going on? So that's what we kind of figured out, that if you want to use the batting and tack down on your designs and they're not there, you can feel free to run that stitch again. You can just go backwards one thread color stop and run it again if you need to. Okay, so yesterday I spent some time at the SCANNCUT and I cut out all of my little rainbow pieces. Okay, got that done. And if you want to see how to cut out stuff on the SCANNCUT, you can look at part 1 of this video where we did this on the single needle. Okay, and today, what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump into Embrilliance Embroidery Software, and I'm going to move around my color stops a little bit. Now, how many people here have a multi-needle? Would Melanie's looking at me from Germany? Hi. So if you've got a multi-needle, let me know in the chat or in the comment down below. So my multi-needle will take many color stops that are identified as the same color and group them into one. Okay, great. So we've got a lot of multi-needles here, users here. Great. So I have the Brother PR 1055, and that machine will take the same color and it will merge it into one stitch file, one color stop, if they're right next to each other in the properties, okay, or in the objects box. So if those colors are all right next to each other, it will merge them into one. It won't stop. I don't know about yours, and I'm sure every embroidery machine is different, but we have a lot of 1055 users here. Okay, so the way this is digitized from Kimberbell, and I'll show you, is to placement line for the red rainbow, tack down for the red rainbow stripe, and then placement for the orange, tack down for the orange, placement for the mint or yellow, tack down for the yellow, and so on. And when you're working at the multi-needle, the whole point of a multi-needle is to make sure that is to streamline everything. Okay. So if you're sitting at a single needle, that's not that big of a deal because it's going to do one stop. Single needles don't do what multi-needles do. So when the digitizer calls it, you know, whatever blue, default blue, and that's the default color that they use for their placement lines, you're going to get, it'll say default blue, default orange, default blue, default orange. Well, the single needle is going to, of course, stop at each one. The multi-needle is going to jump back and forth between those thread colors unless you tell it to stop. But in the meantime, if you leave the design as is, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Whoop, sorry, mirrored. Hello, there it is. 7 times you got to pull the hoop to iron on your rainbow stripes. I don't want to do that. I want to streamline that process. So that's where embroidery software comes in handy. And I'll show you what I did with Embrilliance to show you how that's done. So I am going to share my screen with you guys. Let me get in here. Let me go to present, share screen, and my window and Embrilliance. And here we go. Okay, so this is my final design here, but I want to go over here. So this tab right here has the basic design, okay? And this is actually 3 hoopings in a single needle. But we've got the multi-needle, so we only need to do it in one great big hooping, okay? And if you open up the design in the objects panel, you can see it does. Here are your 7 times you'd have to pull out the hoop. Now notice, there's no batting and tack down here at all. There should be a batting placement, a batting tack down, you know, you'd assume then you'd get a fabric placement and a fabric tack down. They're not there, okay? So I want, now also on this particular screen, you can see down here at the bottom of the screen, let me change my hoop to multi-needle. I'm going to come up here to my preferences box and pop that on there, 8x12, apply. I'm using the dime magnetic hoop, okay? And let me rotate this. I'm going to click on that and I'm just going to rotate 90. Oh, my machine's hanging up right now because it's on sharing and it's thinking about it. So we're going to get the blue Cheerio for a minute. And then it'll catch up, okay? Are we, let's see, we good? Went too far. There we go. Okay. So this is what I want it to look like. Now I really need a batting placement and tack down because I am going to use that for the trim line. Now it's got edges right here that are going to stitch on each side. And this edge, this stitch right up here, that is for use in the orange pop rulers. Okay. But I need a box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to my ruler guides and I'm going to drag a ruler guide down to here. And I'm going to drag them over so that I can see, and we're going to, this is a gaming computer, you guys. It's supposed to have all of that and be all that in a bag of chips with video card strength. Okay. So I need these lines. And then where's the bottom one? Right underneath that rainbow. I'm going to pull one more down and put it right here. So the reason I'm doing these guidelines, this is right where the design would be. Now I'm going to jump into Stitch Artist. Okay. And I'm going to grab the square, and I want to draw a square, and I'm going to create stitches. If you don't have Stitch Artist, you would just do it right outside of your outer stitching. Okay, I'm going to put it right there so I don't get that little, okay. And then I want that to be a run stitch. So there. Now I've created a batting placement. See what I did? Okay. And right here, I'm going to right click and move first. Okay. So now it's up at the top. And on this, I want to right click, copy, and right click and paste. So now here's my placement line, and here's my tack down. All right. And then I can put my fabric on top of that, and we can begin doing the design. Okay. Let me jump back over to you guys and see. You don't have a multi-needle. Okay, good. All right. So does that make sense to everybody what I just did? I just created a placement line and a tack down. That's the beauty of having Stitch Artist. You can create stitches where there aren't any. So if you only have essentials, what you would need to do is make sure if you're going to trim your batting and all that. Now, if you're going to use background quilting, which I'll show you in just a second, if you're going to use the background quilting, I don't know why they don't have it in there on the pattern, Betty. It's a very good question. It always used to be there, but it's not now. And so you need to make one, okay? Or you need to be sure where you're going to trim, and you want to make sure to get it straight. I would draw a line and with a fabric pen on the fabric, front or back, doesn't make a difference, where you could have your placement and tack down lines. Okay. You're going to need that for trimming is what you need. So the way it is right now, you cannot trim away the batting when you're supposed to, because they don't have those lines there. So that's what the person emailed me about yesterday. Her name was Laurie, and she was like, where are the placement and tack down lines on the design file? Now you get them on the background quilting. Okay. But you don't have them on the design file. They always had them in there. I don't know. I don't know what Betty said. Maybe they have an update on it. Well, if they do, I didn't see it on the Kimberbell website because Kimberbell made the design. Okay. So that's the thing. I'm wondering if they're trying to kind of give you a push over to the background quilting designs so that you have those placement and tack down lines that you need. But if you've got embroidery software, which is very handy, and you can create stitches like you can in Embrilliance Stitch Artist. This feature is in Stitch Artist 1. If you don't have 2, that's okay. This feature right here is in 1. So I hope that it is strange. I know it's very strange, and I have no idea why. Okay, so I'm going to jump back over to my screen and take a look here. So if we go into the object panel for the design itself, I get a blue Cheerio, and I'm going to sit here a second while it thinks about it. I apologize, you guys. I'm fighting off a head cold. So I'm going to click on this, and here's what we have. Default 1 blue. This is your placement line for your red stripe. There's the tack down for the red stripe. Okay. Placement for orange, tack down for orange, placement for yellow, tack down for yellow, placement for mint, tack down for mint, placement for aqua, tack down for aqua, placement for baby blue, tack down for baby blue, placement for purple, and tack down for purple. Then it goes back and it starts with purple, and it's going to go backwards for the satin stitching on those. Okay. Like that. All right. And then we have default 1 blue. This is the outline for the little sparkles around the rainbow. And then here we have got fills for the sparkles. And then here this is the This is that trim right there on the top, and there are your 2 side trim guidelines. Okay. Now, I don't want to go to the iron. I don't want to pull the hoops 7 times. So let me jump over to this other page, and it's going to think about it for a second. That's what it does. I'm going to, what I did was I rearranged them so that all of the rainbow stripe lines stitch at one time for the placement. And then I changed the colors for the placement and the tack down. And then I changed, did I do that right? I got to see what I did here. Okay, here we are on that other tab. So I did add in the background quilting. Okay, so here is the placement line for the batting, the tack down for the batting. There's the placement line for the fabric. I won't be stitching that. And then, because I'm going to get in there and trim next to that batting line using my trimmer by George, and I won't be using that stitch either. And then there is the background quilting. And then we're going to jump into this. Now, let me see what I did here. So here we have placement line for the red, orange. Oh, let me see. Let me make sure I've got this right. I need, that's red. That's the mint. And there's the different one, this one, that one. That's the purple. Which this one? Okay. So we have purple, light blue, aqua, mint, yellow, orange, and red. And that's fine. So it's going to stitch all of those at one time. Okay. And then what I don't need the tack down. I don't need the tack down because I'm going to iron them down. I think they'll be fine. And I'll skip those. And then we have, there's your final satin stitching. Okay. So it's very helpful to get comfortable with this software so that as you begin to use it, you go, okay, I understand this. And now I can streamline all of my stitching. Okay. All right. So let me jump back over here. Do you guys have any questions on what I did with the design? Again, I streamlined it because it's going into the multi-needle. So you guys there, you guys are either just glued or you went to go fold your laundry, one or the other. All right. I am going to jump over. Actually, one other thing I need to do, I forgot to put SF101 on my background fabric. So I'm going to do that right now. Can you delete any stitching that you won't be using? Yes, you absolutely can. You highlight that stitch in the objects panel and hit delete on your keyboard. Now, I didn't do that in the design that I have on the USB that I took to the machine, and I will just tell it do not stitch. Okay, that's what I'll do, is I'll tell it do not stitch. So right now, I'm gonna go put some SF101 woven. It's woven, what do you call it? Fusible interfacing. So I'll be right back. You'll see me over here on the other side of my sewing studio. I was running around like a chicken this morning, y'all. It's always something. This won't take but a second. Because of the amount of satin stitching on this particular block, you are going to definitely want to put SF101 on your fabric. You're going to need that. You're absolutely going to need that. That quilting cotton is too thin to support the pull from the satin stitching. All righty, so I'm going to come over here now. I'm going to take this, I'm going to switch cameras, guys. I'll be right with you. You're cleaning your daughter's craft room. Cool. All right. So let me do this so you guys add that to stage. Okay. Let me see here. And okay, I got that in. That works. And I'm going to take me out. Now I'm ready to go. Yep. Okay. All right. Can you guys hear me okay? Do I have an echo? What is the oval cutout on the cutting table? That is my trash cans right below that. That's my trash can a la crawfish boil. Okay. So you can hear me? Yes, fine. Good. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So now that I've got this, I've got my batting and everything. And I need to put some stabilizer into the hoop. All right. I need this right here. Let me get my hoop. Where is that? Where is it? Where is it? Okay. I'm going to be using the Designs and Machine Embroidery Monster Snap Hoop for the Brother PR 1055. Okay, good. So I'll just show you guys how I'm doing all this. I don't know why they have not got that that stable. I mean, those placement and tack downs in there. I just cannot imagine why they would do that. I don't need this one. I need this one. This is how I roll in my sewing room, you guys. This is just the way it is, okay? I got a little bit wider stabilizer than I had originally wanted, but that's all right. It's fine. Okay? All right. Oh, your heavens, what? Yeah, things are crazy. Things are crazy, Carol. And then I'm just going to pull this out just like that. Okay. So now my stabilizer is hooped. Sounds like a demolition. Oh, that was, that's all my hoops under my machine. Everybody's does that, I think. Well, I have them all stacked in there. So let me, I am using a Filtech magnetic bobbin. This is the bobbin I'm using. It's white. This is them. I get them on Amazon. Okay. And I've already put a drop of oil into the machine on the bobbin. So we're good to go. And I have all the threads that match on the back of the machine ready to go. All my thread colors are already chosen. Now, one thing that I did that I normally don't do is I went through on the color palette in the settings, and I went ahead and assigned on page 3, I went ahead and assigned the colors pretty close, not exact. Let me show you. Hold on a second here. I need a crew, you guys. Does anybody want to come and be part of my crew? Okay. So I went ahead and assigned thread colors that match the design file pretty close. I don't get real specific about the numbers of assigning these numbers because I may or may not have that actual color. Okay. And so you guys, me, I want to do it. Okay. So I may or may not have the actual colors that the pattern or design calls for. And again, in Kimberbell, they're not giving you thread color numbers. Okay. Because you just need to match whatever thread you have. But I went ahead and assigned them this time so that the design looks correct on the screen when I'm trying to assign the spools to each stitch file. So I'm going to tell this okay. And now I need to pull up the design. So I've got it right here on my USB. I'm going to grab it. And here it is. And it says the pattern is too large for the extra large embroidery frame and it wants to rotate. So it automatically did that. I'm going to tell it set. Okay. Now here is where you can rotate, resize. You don't want to do any of that because you've already cut, or I've already cut my rainbow pieces. Okay. So I'm just going to hit edit end. Change to a larger embroidery frame. Are you kidding me? Really? Oh my gosh. I don't want to do that. Ugh. Okay. This isn't going to work. I need the 9x14. This happens. All right. Get ready for the... There. It wasn't a demolition again. See, you guys? You believe that? I guess I should have known because this is a 12-inch block, right? That's what happens. This is how it goes. Yeah, I know. Story of my life. No big deal. So what that means is I'm going to change out my frame. Arms, I got to move those around. Can you believe that? Tighten the knob in the back. Yeah, it should, shouldn't it? They're really tight. Hold on. Sometimes that is the problem. You're right. Well, let me see. Okay. All right. We'll try it one more time. Let me go edit end. Nope. No, love. That's okay. I'll just open this up a little bit. Y'all have this happen to you? On a live? Of course. That's when it happens, right? On a live. All right. Let me pop this off. No joy. Yeah, it didn't work. Didn't work. That's okay. Every once in a while, it will work. And stabilizer. Let me see here. My rotary cutter ran off. Okay. I need my screw thingy. That brother tool is very handy. That little hole goes right over the thumb screw and opens it up. For my poor arthritic fingers. All right. Gosh, I can't remember the last time I used this thing. I love my dime hoops. Do you guys use the dime hoops? Now, when I get to all brands, I'm going to be teaching on the PRS-1, which I think is multi-thread single needle free arm, which I believe, yeah. Would it fit if you took the background quilting placement and tack down off? Carol, that was not created by me. That is that on this particular design, it was created by Kimberbell on this one. All right. Oh, I got to move those, y'all. There. There we go. Okay. You have to be a habit of always putting your tools back where they go so that you can find them the next time you're looking for them. All right. Now we're in business. Edit end. Aha. Yay. Spanky's happy. Okay. So let's get in here. I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do with this so that I can streamline my stitching process. So I like to assign my thread colors myself. So on the back of the machine, you have 10 spools and they're numbered 1 through 10. And I put my threads on those. You guys can see them back there. They're real pretty. They match up with all the fabrics. Okay. So if you are not able to manually assign thread colors, let me get you in. You want to go into your settings. So if this button right here with the 3 spools is grayed out, you want to go into your settings. And I think, let's see, page 6 or 7, if I remember. Let me see here. I'll let you see where that is. 7. Manual color sequence. You want to turn that on. So that's the culprit right there. If your 3 spools are grayed out, turn it to on and tell it okay. Okay, then we're good to go. Now I want to touch these 3 spools. All right. This gives you the color stops and it goes 1 through 9. And then these columns right here correspond to the spools on the back of the machine. We have a stop if you want to put your applique down. We have a do not stitch and an okay button. And right here, we have a little preview window to see what the stitch is going to be. And then we've got 1 through 23 color stops. So I need to go through there and assign the color stops. Okay. So this is the batting placement line. I want that to be in white. So white's on spool number 6. So my 1 changed to a 6. I'm going to make sure can you see that pretty well. Once you guys get the hang of this, you'll want a multi-needle all day long over a single needle. Okay. After it stitches, I need it to stop so that I can pull the hoop or so I can put my batting down. This machine does not stop and then stitch. I'm sorry. It doesn't stitch and then stop. It stops and then stitches. So, and it reads from right to left. So we have the placement line for the batting. I'm going to go to the second color stop and I'm going to put a hand up to tell it to stop before it stitches so that it will stop. I'll put my batting on and I want it to stitch spool number 6, which is white. Okay. Then I'm going to go to the next one. And this is the fabric placement line. I can go ahead and put that on there. I will tell it spool number 6. That's just so I can make sure I get fabric over the whole thing. I know I will. Okay. And then let's see. Yep. I'm trying to do this right. So batting placement, stop, batting tack down. And then it's going to stitch that. And this, I need it to stop so I can put my fabric on there. And that is the fabric tack down. I don't want that to stitch because I'm going to use the trimmer by George. And I'm going to go ahead and put his hand there just in case. And then this is going to be, the background quilting is going to be spool number 4. All right. Now we're going to get into the rainbow. So because I moved all of those placement lines together, look at, and they're all the same color. You see what the PR did? it made all of those one stitch. So it's going to stitch all of those, and then I'm going to put them, iron them down, and then I'll pull the hoops. So there's my placement lines, and I want that to stitch in white as well. Okay. Then I want it to stop. Let's see. That is a tack down. Okay. So on this one, this is the red stripe tack down. That's spool number 1. Here is spool. This is going to be spool number 2. They're in order. The orange is spool number 2. Let me back out, so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So let's see here. Where are we at? Where are we at? We're on 8. Okay. So it's going to stop, and then that way I can iron all of my pieces down. Then this is going to stitch on spool number 1 for the red, number 2, and it's just going to go to town and stitch them down, and 3, and 4, pretty sure, I think, and 5. Oh, that's the lilac. Yeah, a couple of them blended together. It'll be fine because the satin stitches will cover all of that. Doesn't matter what color it is. All right, so here is the final satin stitch on this. The purple is spool number 9. And we're going backwards now. 8 for the light blue. 7 for the aqua. All right, and number 6, let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't want to make sure. I want to make sure I got this right. So purple, light aqua, dark aqua. This should be number 4. And why do I think that that's wrong? Let's see. That should be spool number 3. That should be spool number 2, I think. And that should be spool number 1. Okay. 9, 8, 7. I don't use 5 and 6. 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Okay. And then we have this outline of these little stars. I'm going to use the dark aqua for that on spool number 7. And the inside of the little stars, I'm going to use gold metallic from Dime King Star, spool number 10. And I need it to stop because I need to put down some mylar over the top of those little sparkles. That's part of the embellishment kit. And then this I will stitch in the same minty color of spool number 4 and spool number 4. There we go. Perfect. That looks pretty good. I'm going to tell it okay. Now, it can be hard. One of the things I like to do is to print out exactly what's going to stitch from Embrilliance. And that way I can go over it in my head and look at it, and I can program in my stops. That's very, very helpful. You print off the color stops paper. That's what I do. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, Betty. Okay. Oh, I'd move into a garage before I got rid of my multi-needle. Yeah, I swear. All right, you guys. So I think we're about ready to go now. Let me make sure my batting is good to go and all my pieces. I've got a little project board here with everything on it. So let's do this. How exciting. All right, so we're going to hit embroidery. And I'm just ready to go. So you on the main screen, you just hit lock, and then the red button will turn green and you're off to the races. So, and it should stop after it stitches this. Spool number 6 is white, so that's what it's doing. And it's just for me, so I can see where stuff's going to go. Does what he's told. I love that about my Spanky. Okay, I'm going to put that, just lay that on there. It's going to give it the tack down. I know a lot of people, because they're not familiar with how all of that stopping feature works, they just program in a stop after every one. It's very handy to learn how to do that. And it's going around twice. Yeah, y'all can see this doesn't take up a lot of space, the cabinet that it's on. But it's not just the machine, of course. You still have all of the stuff you got to go with it and all that. If I didn't have single needle users that watch my channel, then I probably would never use it. I forgot to program in the stop so I can put my fabric down. So I always kind of watch it and make sure. Let me get my fabric. And I'm going to put that down. All right. And now it's going to stitch my fabric down. Or that's a fabric placement line. That was right. Yeah, that was a fabric placement. I don't want the fabric tacked down. I'll let it do it. Spanky's so forgiving of me because sometimes I'm all over the map. I don't really need this. Put my fabric down with the SF101 on the back, that fusible woven interfacing. And it's getting ready to do the background quilting now. And it'll be pretty. Okay. I'll let you guys look at that. This is so cute. Yeah, Sherry, one of the best compliments I ever have gotten is that somebody told me that they bought a multi-needle and they already knew how to use it as soon as they got it out of the box because they had been watching my videos. So that's really cool. It's not as intimidating as it seems. I mean, I actually let it sit for probably 3 or 4 months, just kind of staring at it, right? I have a playbook, but I never used it at all. And I just started messing around with it to see what to do. I did watch a couple of videos on YouTube, and it gave me a basic idea of how to thread it, and then just stitch out some basic designs that were already in the machine. And that's really the best way to get started. So I try to show multi-needle each time I do one of these because the process is just a little bit different. So yes, the background quilting Fisher is an extra purchase. And I got a situation room video. I think it was early last week or maybe before I left for the cruise. I can't remember, where I talked about different options for background quilting. Okay. There's lots of different options, but you can go check out that video. And I kind of went through them and gave you some ideas. It's not a Kimberbell video. It's a situation room. as I'm doing a Kimberbell project, I'm going to stick with Kimberbell products. Okay. So Kim, when I made chicken salad, that Lori Holt quilt with all my chickens, I did need that great big 10 by 16 hoop in order to be able to fit some of those bird bodies in there. And some of those had to be multi-hooped. Okay. So the max size on this is 200 millimeters, which is like, what is that? Like 8.5, right? So you wouldn't be able to do any designs that are larger than an 8.5 on a multi-nail. All right. It's stitching out the placement lines now for all of the applique. That's what it's doing right now. It just jumped right over to it. I just didn't see the point in pulling the hoop 7 times. That's annoying to me. I don't want to fiddle with it. I think I should have told it don't stitch on some of those other ones on the tack downs, but it's fine. I did create my own applique SVG files from the embroidery design itself. I did not use the SVG files from Kimberbell because they tend to come small. Oh, Julie, that's nice. You've got a 13 by 21. That's cool. Yeah. Well, Kathy Ann, good. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love the multi-needle. I use it all the time. I'll use it before I go to the single needle. If I can, I'll definitely use it first, just for how quick it is. So, and even if there's a lot of applique pieces on it, you just have to print out your sheet. You know, you do a file print from Embrilliance, and then you look. It gives you all the color stops. You just kind of study them. I usually put a little star where I need to stop. And then I use that as kind of a roadmap to program in my color stops and what spools. And it should stop right here. Oh, one more, I think. Across the bottom. Yeah. Nope. There it goes. Okay, I'm going to do some ironing now. Now this particular quilt has a little trick to it. The bottom of this rainbow right here on this side actually drops down into a pot of gold on the other block. So you've got to get those lined up so they look right. Okay, so let's start here and get this going, shall we? You got to put it right side out, right side down. So see, this is such a much better process than having to remove that hoop 7 times. You don't have a choice in a single needle. You have to do that. But you've got the choice in a multi. You have a 6 needle you've never touched. What are you talking about, El Faber? How often do I need to do anything with those tension dials? Oh, no, I have never. I've never done anything with them. I got them right and left them alone. I will tell you though, my service guy told me to go around the tension dials twice. Yeah, they are loud. I know they are loud. I don't mind. The nice thing about it, even though they're loud, is you can put on your brother My Stitch monitor, and you can go wandering around. You can go to the grocery store. You know, you don't have to listen to it. You can go do laundry. It's great. Okay. I did the inflate on these at 1.2, but I've never messed with my tension dolls. All righty. See how easy this is when you've got everything ready and you can program it to do what you want? So much better. I just find I don't have the patience for it. No. I love my PR 1055. Y'all, this is the best embroidery machine. Oh my gosh. I've kind of wondered, you know, what they would do if they came out with another one. Would I trade it? I don't know. It would have to have some seriously good technology in it for me to swap it. I mean, it's already got a camera system in it, right? It's got Design Center. Let's see. Yeah, these are much louder than a single needle. Much. Okay. Look at the time I'm saving doing this, you guys. Okay. I get that on there just right. It was real hard not to pull these when they were coming off the SCANNCUT. No, they're not coming out with another one this year. What'd you do? You had a mess? Sherry, what'd you do in your threading? Hot mess, huh? All right. This looks great. How about that? See? I think that's fabulous. All right. I'm going to put the hoop back in. And I told it all different colors to do the tack down. We'll see what it does. And I want to do that so that I can do any micro trimming I might need to if I was way far outside of the edge. I think everything else is going to be fine. A little bit. Now, if you don't pre-cut your pieces, right after this stop right here is when you would pull the hoop and trim away your piece of fabric. That's crazy. I'm not doing that. Yeah, cameras are very awesome. I need to do a little bit of trimming on the outside of the red one, and that's it, I think. Nope. So Sherry, that's a really good point. When something goes really wonky, sometimes you want to start your rethread way back here. Start it back at the spool and just run the whole thing through again, because it's super easy for the thread to be like, well, how did that happen? I don't know. There's yellow. Now we're going to go to the light aqua. Let me see. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, your 6 needle doesn't have a camera. Yeah. I think that the 1050 and the 1055 have the cameras. All right, here's your dark aqua. Let's see. Uh-oh, that's black. What is that? I didn't mean to do that. Where are we? We should be on light blue and it's doing a black. I don't know that it's that big of a deal because it's going to have a satin stitch over it, but I didn't mean to leave that. So if you do this, if you don't program something correctly, let me show you how you can fix it. Okay. So the first thing I want to do, so I've got black thread coming out here and it should be spool number 4 instead of spool number 5. Let me show you how to fix that problem. All right, so the first thing I want to do is, hold on a second. Oh, excuse me, you guys, fighting head cold. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, excuse me. Sorry. So the first thing I want to do is to cut the thread. So I'm going to hit lock and cut the thread. So it did a tie off. All right. Now what I want to do, I'm going to go into needle plus minus. I've got to get back to the beginning of this stitch. So we're on number 10 out of 22. I'm going to go to needle plus minus. And all I'm going to do is tap the number again. Hold on. Excuse me. So now we're back to the beginning of this. Now it still says it's going to use spool number 5. There's no way on this screen to change it to the spool you want it to be. So I'm going to tell it, okay. But the trick with this is you've got to go back to the beginning of this stitch. Now I'm going to hit my spool with the little magic wand on it. And I'm going to tell it spool number 4. Okay. Excuse me. Y'all, my head cold. Ooh, all right. And that's good. So the little magic wand has stayed on there. Now this will tell me that if I wanted to stitch this entire design all over again, that would not be there. That would not stick. So if you're doing multiples, you would really need to go back and edit the entire design, or remember to switch number 10 again. Just a little something for you guys to know about that. Okay. So that's how you fix on the multi-needle when you programmed incorrectly. So now I'm just going to hit lock and go. And now it's doing it again in the color that I want. Now, if you do that and you catch it right away, you generally don't have to pick that out because the satin stitching is going to go over it anyway. The only time I pick it out is if it is a satin stitch that I didn't want. And then I go in from the back of the hoop and I just run a seam ripper or some very tiny snips and just trim up those bobbin threads and then scrape out the top with my fingernail. All right, this is good. I'm going to do a little bit of trimming after this particular stitch. This is the tack down for the purple. I'm stopping it. Okay, I'm going to do some micro trimming on the outside of that red. Okay. See how easy it is to stop it? You don't have to get real crazy about it. Just want to get it before it starts its next little knot. Where is my thing of scissors? Here they are. Yeah, I started with my head cold like night before last. Thank you, Kim. Aren't you sweet? Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. Okay. I'm going to trim this down. I've got about 1/8 of an inch sticking up here, and I want to trim this down so that I can make sure that that 3 millimeter wide outside satin stitch is going to cover that. There's just a tiny little bit, not a lot. Everything else is really pretty fine, I think. Maybe just a little, but this is hands down better than trimming around every one of these rainbow stripes. What a pain in the neck that is. So if you have gone to the expense of a multi-needle, then you probably want to, you know, go ahead and get the SCANNCUT and do your pieces, you know, pre-cut your applique. Absolutely. So, oh, you're coming in September, Vicki. Excellent. We're gonna have a great time at that rally. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Okay, and I'm gonna do, I think I stretched my little red rainbow stripe here. Let me get this one. Just a little bit on that. It's like you're getting up a little bit of frayed edges, but if I see like an 1/8 or a 1/16 of an inch, I'll try to do it just to micro trim that. I'm going counterclockwise like I tell y'all not to. If you're right-handed. That's good enough for me. I'm liking it. I think that that will look just fine. And so now it's ready to do the outside satin stitching. Okay. Okay. And we're going to get ready to go. All right, here we go. It's going to, what are you doing, Harley? Come on, baby. Come in. Okay. So, this next stitch up here, it's going to be stitching for probably about 20 minutes doing those satin stitches all around those rainbow blocks. So I'm going to wrap it up. But you never use the SCANNCUT or the 6 needle. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Lee. That's great. That's the kind of stuff I like to hear. Absolutely. That's the whole point of this channel. Yeah, perfect. That's wonderful. Okay, good. How do I get the applique pieces the right size in the SCANNCUT? In Embrilliance Essentials, and I've got a video on this, I can create the SVG file for the cut file from the placement line of the applique. So I import the embroidery design into, I just drag it into Embrilliance Essentials, and you can create the SVG file from there. So that's how I do that. And I have a lot of videos on when I'm doing that. Kathy, the scissors I'm using, these are Gingers. I've had these for probably about 10 years, and they're wonderful. They're not cheap, but they're worth every penny. Y'all, my nose is giving me fits this morning. So let me see what else. I just want to make sure that I covered everybody's. You have a SCANNCUT you can't get used to. Yeah, Sherry, take a look. If you go to YouTube and you type in create SVG from embroidery design, I've got a couple of videos that are going to pop right up, right in the top. And you can watch that, okay? You do need embroidery software in order to be able to do that. Or there is a way to create a cut file right on the SCANNCUT. I did a demo of how to do that on Sew and Sale 13. And I promised him I'd make a video how to do that. So I haven't done it yet because I had the mini quilt that I needed to work on. But you certainly can break apart embroidery designs on the SCANNCUT and find the one that is the placement line and make the SVG file from that. And then it's absolutely going to fit because you created the SVG, you created the cut file from the placement line. So if you use the placement line as a pattern, it's going to work. There's just no way that it won't. So if you guys don't have any questions, I think I'm going to wrap this up. But I just want to make sure I got it all. You got to get a seam ripper replacement. You dropped yours. Yeah, Julie. We have a couple of those tips left. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to finish this up. It's going to be really loud for about another half hour while it does its thing. And I apologize for, you know, that happens on the multi-needle. Hey, you need to switch to a larger hoop. I didn't even think about it. It was probably like 1/4 of an inch. So, all right, y'all, we will talk to you soon. You guys go sew something. And I'll see you Monday at 1 o'clock, and we'll put all of this together and finish the quilt. All right? Have a great weekend. Bye.